Ready.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope we're all faring well during this strange and crazy time. I do miss having all of you here to interact, but how amazing is it that we have social media to connect and practice self-care together. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and find a space in your house where you feel safe and comfortable. Make sure you are as free from distraction as possible, and I know that that is definitely easier said than done, but we're going to go ahead and settle into a nice easy seat whenever you are ready. So if you want, you can begin low on the ground, placing the sit bones right here on the mat. You can elevate a little bit with a blanket or even a couch cushion or a pillow. Or if you feel, you can invite a chair into your practice. And then take a minute to get cozy. If you want, bring some essential oils if you have them, maybe a warm coffee or tea. And let's go ahead and settle in. So whether you're low to the ground on a bolster, a pillow, or up in a chair, make sure that this position right here is comfortable and sustainable. Remember, the goal of Easy Seat is to take time to check in, to make sure that we feel comfortable breathing, that our body is not a distraction. And when you are ready, go ahead and close the eyes or soften the gaze. Allow the shoulders to roll back and relax heavy down through the arms and hands. Begin to notice small sensations that come up. And we'll find a gentle bow with the chin towards the chest. Notice the back of the neck begin to lengthen and elongate. Good. And start to feel the body stack. Remember, head above heart, heart above hips. Allow the thighs to release and melt down towards the floor or heavy into the chair. Good. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and start coming into the breath. Beginning to slowly elongate and fill up the body as you inhale. And as you exhale, release that breath out through the nose or mouth, whichever feels more comfortable and natural to you. With your next breath in, sit up just a little bit taller. And maybe now as you exhale, begin to draw the navel center in towards the spine. Good. If you feel called to, you can bring your hands to prayer at heart center, or even let the fingertips come to the floor beside the hips for a little bit more support. And then just take time to notice. Notice how you feel being here right now in this space. Notice the gentle ebb and flow of your breath as you inhale and exhale. Good. Just a little bit more, breathing into the belly and maybe expanding through the ribs. A gentle lift in the heart space right at the end of that breath in. And then allow your exhale to come back the same way, slowly lowering through the chest, feeling the ribs hug the midline, and beginning to feel that navel center in towards the spine, providing support, ribs up above the hips. Okay, just a couple more breaths here. If it's in your practice, go ahead and start that positive self-dialogue. Create an intention or goal for your practice today. Remember, sustainable, easy. I'll invite you here on your last few breaths to allow your tongue to slide between the top and bottom teeth. Release any tension in the jaw. And just let that breath come out naturally and easy through the mouth. It's always a great way to feel exhaling, unloading. Okay, let's take one more breath here together. Big breath in, all the way in. And a big breath out, all the way out. Cool. So we are going to set our fingertips on the floor. If you are seated on the chair, you can go ahead and slide your hands just underneath the seat to elongate the arms. Allow the arms to stretch out as far as the arms are long. And with your next breath, sit up really tall. Try to feel that extension come up, especially through the neck. And then gently release the right ear to the right shoulder. Good. Less is more here. Begin to feel that stretch through the left side of the neck, and if you'd like, you can even reach the left fingertips a little bit farther away. Continuing to inhale to feel the body sit up nice and tall, to fill the belly with breath. And let your exhale provide just a little bit more weight to the head and melt the shoulders down. Good. It feels really nice if you find a little or a gentle tilt with the head forward and back here as well. So let's take just a couple more breaths here. Last big inhale. And let it out. Good. Let's breathe the head right back up to center. And if you need to reset, roll the shoulders down. Elongate through the neck. Good. We'll inhale to sit up a little bit taller here. And then exhale to release the opposite ear to shoulder. Once again, less is more, so allow the weight of the head to fall. Let gravity do the work for you. If you like, extend this arm out just a little bit more to feel the right side of the neck begin to open. If you want to add here, you can find a gentle tilt with the head forward and back. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. After your following exhale, we'll bring the head back to center, nice and easy. Good, and then take a little baby twist to your right side. Nothing fancy. A little movement here to squeeze the tummy. And then release. Good, other side. And we'll bring it right back to center. And if you're on a couch cushion or pillow bolster, go ahead and release that from the sit bones now. If you're on a chair, let your right knee come up into the chest and then gently place the right ankle on top of your left thigh. For those of you joining me on the floor, we're going to slide our right foot out in front for Siddhasana. So not too much space, but not too little. You definitely want to feel the right hip a little bit more than the left here. We're going to lean our weight towards the front of the sit bones, set our hands as wide as the yoga mat. And on your next breath in, lift up through the chest. Try to feel the belly button come up into the heart space. And then as you exhale, slowly begin to walk it out. Take your time getting here. You don't really have to go very far before you feel the right hip begin to speak to you. And if you are elevated and seated on that chair, just find a gentle curve in the back as you bow the face or chin towards the chest. Good. As many times as you need to, inhale to lift up through that heart space. And slowly exhale to deepen. Once you find that perfect plum space where you feel comfortable, but you're challenged a little bit, take time to observe your breath here. Notice the subtle changes in the lower back, and especially that right hip as you inhale big into the belly. Good, just a couple more. I can't see you, but I know you're doing great. Awesome. Last one here. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly start to walk the hands back. We're going to lift it right back up above the sit bones. Cool. And then once you get here, if you feel inclined to move the ankles, it is okay to release the legs and wiggle the feet. Wiggle the toes, circle the feet around the ankles, and then we're going to come right back in. With that left heel, snuggle into the hip point, but extend the right leg out. Allow the heel to place gently on the floor. And we're going to keep the foot relaxed, so you don't have to point the toes up, you don't have to find a flex. If anything, again, just focus on lifting the spine, finding that space, allowing for bigger breaths each time you inhale. We're going to send the right hand to the outside of the left thigh, slide the left arm behind you. Allow this twist to be a little bit deeper than the one before it. And find a gentle tilt with the chin so that we can feel that length really come up through the spine. Sitting up nice and tall as you breathe in. And deepening the twist every time you breathe out, feeling that navel center and heart space rotate to the left. Continue to feel the shoulders relax away from the ears. And if it's not too much, start bringing that gaze all the way back over your left shoulder for a complete spinal twist here. Beautiful. Big breath in. Big breath out. And we'll take just one more. Inhale. Keep the spine nice and lifted, but as you exhale, go ahead and release the twist, and we're going to send ourselves towards this right leg. So you can readjust and reposition yourself on the sit bones as often or as much as you need to. For this position, we will activate the legs. So allow the right toes to dial up towards the sky. If it's in your practice and there's close to you that you can kind of loop around the foot, maybe a strap or a towel, go ahead and do that. Or place the hands on opposite sides of this right leg, turning the chest or the heart space towards the knee. On your next inhale, lift up and out of the sit bones. And then as you exhale, you want to find a combination of lowering and releasing down towards the knee, but also maintaining a little twist. We're letting the heart space come down, but also moving it a little bit towards the right. Good. That's going to start creating some sensations in that lower right back. And as you begin to deepen and soften into this, you may even want to take that left hand to the outside of the right thigh or the right leg. Beautiful. A couple more breaths here in heart to knee pose. Let's take our last full breath. We'll use that next exhale to either release the strap or let the hands come to opposite sides of the legs. Slowly walk it back up. Beautiful. Let's bring it back to center. We'll draw the right heel in towards the sit bones and we'll switch it out. So again, if you need a little shimmy, a little circle, a little shake, this time go ahead and draw the right heel in towards, or anchor it in towards the hips. Slide the left foot out in front. Lean your body towards the front of the sit bones. This is key really for any seated position. Place the hands as wide as the yoga mat. Take a nice big breath, lift up through the heart space. And try to keep that front line length here as you lower down on the exhale. Taking your time getting there. And remember to let the sensation or the movement start from the base of the body. So I know it's really easy to just let the head fall, but I encourage you to keep that front line long and maybe think about drawing the navel center towards the heel. And then the heart space towards the toes. We'll keep the gaze down at the floor so the neck maintains its extension as the spine, or extension of the spine rather. Good, and then feel that breath move down into the left hip as you inhale nice and full through the belly and ribs. And let it all out as you breathe out. Good, let's take 2 more full breath cycles. On that second exhale, gently walk it back. Restack the body and let's take this left leg out to the side. So again, keep the left foot nice and relaxed and just start to feel the back of the leg open. We're going to send the right hand behind us, left hand to the outside of the right thigh. As you breathe in next, sit up nice and tall, up and out of the sit bones. And let each exhale deepen the twist. On these last few breaths, if there's not too much tension in the neck, let the gaze come all the way back over your right shoulder. Nice and long through the neck. Make sure you're bringing that breath here in the twist. We'll take our last full inhale. And then release the twist, but keep that length as you exhale. We're gonna bring it over to the left leg. So shimmy towards that left side, maybe reposition on the sit bones. Flex the feet now, toes up towards the sky. Again, hands can reach for the foot or they can be placed on opposite sides of this left leg. You may even wanna press down, I didn't say this on the other side, but you may even wanna press down a little bit through that right knee to give your spine and your belly that little push up. Let's take a nice big breath, lift up and out of the sit bones. And on the exhale, slowly begin to lower. So remember, this is a little lower, a little twist, a perfect combination here in heart to earth, heart to knee pose. So feel the back of the left leg open up. And as you begin to add those added elements, the twist and the lowering, take some soothing breaths into the lower right back. job. Let's take just one more. Big inhale. Big exhale out. And then gently release. We'll walk it back. Let's slide the left leg out in front, and we'll take the right leg out too and just give the legs a little shimmy. So once you get here, you can even pull the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. We're gonna take a nice, easy, and even seated forward fold. So activate the feet here. Even if you have the flexibility to bring the backs of the knees into the floor, I'm gonna invite you to lift them up just a little bit. Find that gentle forward lean. Take a really big breath, reach the arms up towards the sky. And as you exhale, lengthen the belly, but try to start relaxing the back as you fold it forward. So we do want to grab the feet to keep the toes up. If you're having trouble reaching them, you can slide your heels as close to you as you need. And then just melt it down. And maybe today, because this is different, if you find in the studio or in your group practices that you have a habit of going all in all the time, maybe today we'll just scale back slightly and see how that feels. So a nice gentle roll, a melting sensation with the belly over the thighs. And maybe here we begin to lower the head, letting the back of the neck lengthen even more. Awesome, just a couple more. Big full inhales, slow soothing breaths in. And exhale all the way out. Good, last one. Cool, we're gonna take the hands to the outsides of the legs, nice and easy on the floor, walk it all the way back. If you want, you can add one more little twist. Twists are a great way to detox, so I don't think you can get enough of those. And then once we come back to center, we're gonna find our way onto the hands and knees. So if you've placed a blanket or a pillow underneath the sit bones, go ahead and take that away now. And you can also do this if you're on a chair, standing long on the legs, hinging at the hips and placing the palms right at the seat, making sure the hands are underneath the shoulders, which we're all gonna do here. So hands are gonna come underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Well, I'm gonna move that back a little bit. And then press the tops of the ankles into the floor. We're gonna take our time before we invite cat-cow. Make sure that you feel strong here. Push the yoga mat away from you. And on your next breath out, draw the navel center and the heart space up towards the back body. So we're super active here. This is a great way to move around some settled or stagnant energy. Just think about that. Every time your muscles talk to you, every time they feel warm, you're moving some stuff. And you're gonna move it more as you invite deeper breaths. Good. So I personally like to begin with cat. We're gonna take a big breath in, push the yoga mat away with the tops of the feet and the palms. And then as you exhale, scoop the belly in. Good, let that navel center draw up, round out through the back, tuck the chin into the chest, and feel that tailbone pull under too. Sometimes it really works to open up the back body also if you place the hands just a tad bit wider, but let's just really focus on puffing out that back side. Imagine breathing right here into the back body, inhaling to open up the backs of the ribs. And then on your exhale, just squeeze that belly up. Get all that stale air out. Nice, just one more here. Inhaling into the back. And this time, as you exhale, slowly sink the belly back down. We're gonna come through a neutral spine and inhale right into cow. So drop the belly, lift the chest, open up the shoulders. Try to shine the elbow creases forward, roll the shoulder blades back here, and stay here for a breath or two, letting your exhale sink the spine into the tummy. sometimes it really helps the back to keep to stay a couple extra breaths in cat-cow, to keep this position just a little bit longer. Remember to keep the back of the neck long. Good, one more breath in. And then as you exhale, let's scoop it back and come into cat. Good, you can stay here for a couple extra breaths just like we did before, or if you're feeling it, start inviting your traditional cat-cow. Inhale, belly drops, chest lifts, throat's open, but the back of the neck is nice and long. And as you exhale, scoop it up. Keep pushing the mat away, so as you come into cat, you can feel that back body open. We can start to create some space between the shoulder blades. Good, inhale into cow, and exhale to cat. And then reside in the breath here. Observe the breath as the body moves. Maybe trying to make each inhale and exhale a little longer than the one before it. Good, let's do just one more. Big breath in, belly drops. Big breath out, we'll scoop it up. Beautiful, and then come back to a flat or neutral spine. And if you need to, it is okay to sit it back and give the hands a little shake. Maybe a little counter stretch. And then we're gonna come right back into it. So hand placement, just make sure that the index fingers are facing forward. Hands are clipped out a little bit towards the outside of the mat. And that's gonna allow most of your body weight to settle into that fatty pad between the thumb and the wrist. I hope that's familiar because we go over that in practice all the time. So once again, inhale to push the mat away. Exhale to feel that belly draw up towards the spine. And when you're ready, on an inhale, I did it again, I kicked the block. Take that right leg back behind you. All right, so we're gonna take one limb away at a time. Just two, don't worry. But once you get here, don't worry about flexing or pointing the foot. If anything, just allow the leg to relax down. You can even find a little bend in the right knee. We want to focus more here towards the thigh. We're going to lift up through that inner right thigh. If you feel comfortable to, begin extending the left arm out in front. So this is kind of what I was talking about before when I mentioned that heat. You're going to feel it here in your supported limbs, but you should also feel it as you take these elevated limbs a little bit higher than parallel, just a little bit. You don't want to crunch the back too much. And I promise you we're not moving for a moment or two, so keep the gaze down at the mat. Maintain that nice length from tail to crown. You got it, little beads of sweat on the forehead. All right, 3, 2, beautiful. We're going to float it down nice and gentle. So take the left hand down, allow the right knee to follow. Again, take a seat and shake it out if you need to. And then we'll extend the left leg back behind us. So again, toes are facing down. The inner left thigh is going to reach up towards the sky. The gaze is down too, and this is not only important for the back of the neck, but also to maintain your balance. Find your focal point. Look right down at the floor. If you feel comfortable to, extend that right arm out in front. Here you go. Invite the shake, invite the warmth. That's energy moving throughout the body. And then remember to breathe. Inhale through the nose, through these limbs, fingertips to toes and heel. And exhale to stay connected to that center. Good, you got it. We're almost there. 3, 2, big breath in. And then big breath out. Release the right hand down, the left knee next. We're going to send the knees as wide as the yoga mat. Let your palms walk forward and out one distance. Good, nice big stretch in the shoulders. Inhale, drop the belly, open up the chest, and then slowly start to walk it out. We're gonna come into puppy pose. So puppy pose takes the elbows down first. If you feel comfortable to, lengthen out a little bit more and let the heart release towards the mat. Heart to earth pose. And try to feel every exhale sink the chest down and relax any tension in the upper back body. If you are feeling nice and loose here, go ahead and lift the chin. Let the chin rest. Open up the throat. All right, let's take our last 2 breaths. And once you arrive to that second and final exhale, slowly begin to walk the hands back towards you. Once you feel supported, draw the knees back together. Take a seat on the feet and then slide the fingertips all the way back towards the mat. We're going to rest here in child's pose. If your forehead touches the mat effortlessly, go ahead and rock the head gently from side to side. Massage out that third eye space. Great for breaking up the sinuses. Now you can stay right here if this feels really good, or if you'd like, let's start to walk it to the right. I personally like to come up on my fingertips so I can feel the underarms, my underarm muscles, the underside of my arms stretch out a little bit more. And then on your next breath, let's walk it to the left. And feel your breath, open up that right side. Nice job. Let's walk it back to center. And then just for fun, ease yourself back into tabletop. You can stay rested in child's pose if that's where you're at today. Or if you are getting little invitations to lift it up just a little bit, let's flip the feet. Inhale, push the mat away. And as you exhale, let the knees lift and slide it back into your first and only downward facing dog today. Good, you're gonna hold here. Find a soft, gentle bend in the knees. Press the chest towards the thighs. And I know for a lot of us, once we get in downward facing dog, there's that, maybe it's a habit or that inkling to just start pedaling out the feet, but let's go ahead and keep it nice and still. Just like you did in tabletop with your limbs lifted, invite that warmth. And then breathe it from the tips of the fingertips to the bottoms of the feet. Good, just a couple breaths. You got it, one more here. And then very gently lower the knees to the mat as you breathe out. Awesome. Let's swing the legs around, come right back onto the sit bones. And then slide the feet out in front. And then take a moment. That was our only position, bringing the head below the heart. So if you need to settle back in, that's totally fine. You may even want to close your eyes here. We're going to find a bound angle position. So allow the bottoms of the feet to come towards one another. They don't necessarily have to touch. If anything, keep them separated. And today we'll do a little self-love. So the knees can fall. No force. Lean towards the front of the sit bones. Sit up nice and tall as you breathe in. And then just kind of relax. Soften everything here. Don't come down too far. Just allow the head to fall. The chin to tuck towards the chest. And maybe with the thumbs, find a little massage in the bottoms of the feet. You can stay here and keep rubbing the bottoms of the feet. If you want, let the palms come to the floor and start to walk it out. Remember, listen to your body, find what fits you today. And then once again, feel that breath open up and inflate the back ribs. Awesome. Let's start to walk it back. We'll draw the knees back together. Turn lengthways on the mat if you weren't there already, so we can roll it down. Nice job. So we'll come here, place the feet flat on the floor, let the hands come right behind the backs of the thighs, sit up nice and tall as you breathe in. Let this be your only abdominal work today. We're gonna lean it back, opening up the hips, and then start to scoop the belly in. Think cat pose, tailbone lifts. Your feet can release a little bit, and then slowly make your way down. That feels good. All right, once you're here, let your arms melt beside you. Walk the feet a little bit closer, but then as wide as the yoga mat, and we'll find a gentle windshield wiper movement from side to side. Good job. Maybe next time, when the knees come to the right, we'll let them stay here for just a moment. Good, remember that wide feet stance is super important here. As the knees lower to the right, it's your left thigh, your left hip, and that lower left back that you're really gonna feel. nice big belly breath. As you exhale, we'll slowly bring the knees right back to center. Make sure that the spine feels long and really connected to the mat, and then lower the knees to the left. Again, focusing now on that right thigh, that inner right leg, the right hip, and even the lower right back. Big breath in. Big breath out. Awesome. Let's bring the knees back to center. We'll walk the feet back in hip distance apart, and then draw the knees into the chest and give yourself a nice big squeeze. Maybe letting that tailbone lift just a tad, but if it does, lower it right back into the floor. And then rock it out from side to side. The feet are free here, so you can wiggle the toes. Circle the feet around the ankles once again. And massage that back body. This is great for massaging the muscles in the back, but it's also really good for massaging the liver and the kidneys. I've seen all those funny tequila shot memes. What are you doing in quarantine? So if we've been imbibing just a tad, maybe we'll do this tomorrow too. And then let your right hand come over the right knee, left hand over the left. We're just gonna circle the knees around the hips, maybe hit more surface area back there. Good. And if you haven't yet, circle in the opposite direction. Awesome. Once the knees come back to center, let's slide our hands behind the backs of the thighs. We'll extend the legs up towards the sky. Nothing crazy, don't crank it open. Keep a nice gentle bend in the knees and some space between the hips. And you may want to give the backs of the legs a little massage here too. And this is also a position that you can do up against a wall, legs up the wall pose, also known as Viparita Karani or inverted in action, a great way to boost the immune system and just kind of let everything backflow a little bit. So I encourage you to stay here as long as you want, and when you're ready, taking your time, coming in, we're gonna slowly lower the feet, slide the legs all the way out, and of course, if there's anything else that you feel will complete your practice, please by all means go ahead and invite that now. But take your time getting here. Savor the moment that you find yourself easing into Shavasana, starting to let all of that energy release, finding some weight in the limbs, and closing the eyes again. Relaxing every muscle in the face. Before you start coming back into that positive dialogue, take a moment and thank yourself for making time to show up. I know, all things considered, that might be the hardest part. Start to feel yourself settle and invite that stillness. the eyelids closed, begin to feel the spaces around the eyes relax even more. If you set an intention at the beginning of practice, go ahead and tune back into that now. And of all of the breaths that you have taken this entire practice, let your next one be the biggest, the fullest, and the most soothing as you inhale through the nose. And let your exhale come all the way out. Good. As many times as you need to feel like you are unloading anything that is sticking around and no longer serving you. The biggest breath you've taken all morning. And exhale all the way out. I hope that you are in a space where you feel safe and comfortable, free from distraction. I will leave you here so that you can stay as long as you want. And thank you so much for tuning in. From my heart to yours, namaste.